What would you say? How has your life changed since the pandemic in relation, yeah, to your whole living experience? Maybe more in general now.
Mhm. I would say that it hasn't changed so much for me. Before the pandemic, I was working at home already, so I was I have a room in that I use as an office at home, so I work from there. And when the pandemic hit, in fact, the main changes were around me, so to speak. So on my life, personal life side. So my kids, I have two children, and they stayed at home for a couple of months. And then my husband as well, he stayed at home as well for a while. So it was more this part, the life part, that changed.
Okay. So as you had already learned before the pandemic how to work in home office, then during the pandemic it was more impacting your private life circumstances.
Exactly. It was more to do with having to manage both at the same time, because now I didn't have specific time for work anymore, because I had a lot more personal issues, personal matters to deal with, like taking care of the children, mostly at home, than what I was doing before, because they were not at school. So that's mainly the difficult part. It was to yes, to balance both things at the same time. Same kind of same work, but more more family
Yes.
tasks. Yes.
Maybe specify a little bit what made it so challenging to balance private and working from home.
Yes, like for example, I would normally I had my routine at home. You wake up, you get the children ready for school, and you send them off if you want, and then you start your work day, your work hours. But during the pandemic, of course, since the kids were staying at home, I lost a lot this routine, and so we would get ready still for school, but then we would start by all of us sitting on the living room table, and each of us would have a little bit like their work, if you want. I was trying to set them into a bit of a school dynamic, just to try to give me a bit of time to work as well. So I would try to do this. I would work alongside my kids, giving them a bit of homework. The school was giving us some suggestions. So this is what I tried to do, and then of course you end up having less time for work, because it's inevitable. You have to be attentive also of the others, but yeah, we're doing it like this. And then with my husband, we would also share a bit the time. But well, we were all under the same roof for a couple of months, I think it was. Where I live, the confinement was only 2 months for school. So that was the time where we cohabited, all of us, 24 hours in the same under the same roof. And then afterwards it became a bit easier, because then they started going back to school, so we had a bit more time. It was not very strict where I live, so that helped also a bit, this balance.
You say, how was this switch working from the office to working totally remotely?
It was a learning curve for sure, because I was used to waking up and changing completely the setting by going physically to a working place, to another place, another building. So it does require a bit of mental setting. I I started trying to do exactly the same as in the office, like getting myself on my desk at a specific time, switching on the computer and not moving, and then having little breaks for the bathroom and a few, not much else. But in fact, for me personally, it didn't work so well. Apart from this, technically also you have to know what you need, what for your everyday work. Me, in my job, it's mainly the computer, so there's not a lot of extras I need. But little yes, little devices, for example, that you might need for your everyday, you might not realize at the beginning when you start working remotely. And now that it's been several years, I don't realize, but I have everything set up for me, but it takes a little bit of time, yes.
Interesting, because you now say that you could not transfer the office routine to the
No.
home office routine.
Not completely, no. Well, it might work for some people, I don't know, but in my case, it didn't work. It's I was not in the same mental frame in the office that I am at home, even if it's still my office and it's still work I do, and I find it very very efficient. I mean, I can organize my time how I want, and that implies that when I decide to do something, I'm very focused, and I know what I have to do. I do it, and it works. I feel I feel quite efficient. So it was not the same in the office every day. It's more like you have to go to the office, so you go, but not every day or not all the moments of the day you're as focused as other moments. So
yeah. And if we now come back again a little bit to the pandemic and to the changes you experienced during the confinement, has there been any additional support from your workplace leader during this time? And yes, maybe you can say something on that, and if you would have wished some additional support during the time.
I think yeah, I don't think I was missing anything. The process went very smoothly. From my experience, we all knew that the situation was exceptional, and we all had to start working from home. And so in my case, it was a bit easier because I was already working from home, but all the rest of my team was not. So they had a few more days of learning time than me, maybe in that sense. But all the team was really aware of the situation, so there was this flexibility of time as well to adapt, and anything that we would need, we just spoke out, and we were really well accompanied in this process. In my case, I didn't need anything extra apart from this adaptation time for the whole team, because we had to start being more active in communicating online, instead of just going around to the other person's desk to ask something. So that had a little bit of bit of work, but now we found of course we found our rhythm, so it went very well, and the organization helped a lot any time we needed something. So it was a good process. It was just time consuming, I would say. We were quite prepared. We of course improved when it started. We realized at the moment that we maybe needed some other tools, some other digital tools that we didn't have or that we didn't use so often, and that we started to use a bit more. Like now we use some, I don't know if we can say names, but we use more chats than before, of course. So now we improved these tools for us. We adapted them a bit more. So it was this process, this time that was needed, but otherwise we were very much supported by the organization, and it went, I think, pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it helped that all the country was a bit stopped by all the country, and all the world was a bit stopped by these situations. So this was the time needed. We didn't run behind on anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody understood very well.
Yes.
Yes. Mm.
Is there something you would say you learned from this time as to stay digital healthy, or to stay in a good work-life balance in relation to your work and life?
It's difficult to say. I'm not too sure about a specific thing, but what I know is that is this feeling I have that everybody around became more conscious, I think, of this necessity of a balance between working life and personal life, and yeah, it was really pronounced during this pandemic. Now we have the societies, the ones I'm around. We are they are organized around a working life, I feel, but not around our personal life. So all our personal issues, all the things to do with the family or with everything else are organized around your working life. So for example, the school was a very clear example. We have we work from 8 to 5, so the school needs to be from 8 to 5, otherwise we cannot work. And when this came crashing down, then we noticed that in fact we needed an alternative in order to continue working correctly. So it's more of a feeling of everybody realizing this and kind of slowing down, you know, this rhythm, or becoming conscious of this for me. Yes, otherwise for me personally, I think it's more the fact that everybody I am working with now understands what it is to work from home, and that was very helpful as well. It brings a good understanding to everybody of the possible struggles.
Okay. So I think these were my questions. Maybe you have something you want to add on the topic of work-life balance and digital well-being, and especially with regard to women. You mentioned many times now the awareness topic, that this is very important, and also that yeah, this in the understanding of others, because they started also to work from home, what it means to work from home, that this was something that really helped you.
Yes, that's what I think was positive out of all this experience. It's like any other life experience, I guess. We try to find something positive out of it, and I think for me, from my perspective, that's what I feel we got from it.